If you're new to Amazon, then you probably are thinking, how does Amazon fulfillment work? So I've gotten enough questions that I pulled some information from our work as an agency and put it for a high-level overview, the benefits, give you some real-life examples, and also most common questions that you probably have in your head as well. So in the end of the overview. Okay, let's start. So what is Amazon fulfillment? It's fulfillment by Amazon is when Amazon receives and stores and handles all the fulfillment process for sellers. Now, what are the benefits? Well, first of all, it's handling the entire fulfillment process for the customer, right? So if you don't have capacity or constraints about fulfilling your own product, that you can kind of pass that operational burden to Amazon. So the second point is kind of also fulfillment related, is that Amazon provides customer service, as in, any shipping type of related issues, any refunds, returns, there are customer service questions as related to fulfillment process. Amazon, handles that as well. And last, but I think most important, is FBA products convert better when sold through, FBA product, right? So your product pages will show that Prime badge that you, as probably Amazon customer yourself, know well. Because then customers prefer Prime purchases, and better conversions, of course, means more sales. So long story short, you get more sales by using fulfillment by Amazon. And also you qualify for certain Amazon programs such as Vine, Lightning Things. So the ones where Amazon needs to ensure there's inventory. So it does give you a little bit more exposure to participation programs that help your marketing and which also converts to sales. I do want to comment here what we real life kind of, you say, well, how do they sell better by FBA versus not? So we've when we've done conversions of converting client from self-fulfillment to fulfillment by FBA, we've seen sales lift for as high as 30%. So think about it. So that can be if you're using merchant fulfillment, self-fulfill, and if you just haven't got around to FBA, that will give you kind of yes, you have to go through steps, but once you do it once, then you know how to do it, but you'll get sales lift. And if you're just starting out, then do strongly recommend using Amazon fulfillment if you have any hesitations around it. All right, now Amazon fees. So FBA, so Amazon cost model, extremely important understanding of that in order to be successful on Amazon long term. So there is 3 types of main fees that I would call kind of, they're consistent fees. So first of all, you have FBA fee. That is strictly FBA fee, right? So here we have an example here in my right side is where the product is sold for $24.99. And then FBA fees are here in the lower section. If you see FBA, fulfillment, weight handling, other FBA fees. So in this example, there is not. So they are based on the weight and size of your product. So, I can't tell you it's precisely, $2 or $3 or whatever per item, but you can see kind of the rough percentage here. So this item probably standard size, 6 divided, so about 25%. I just showed that I can't do math in my head. That is a FBA fee. That is only if you use FBA. If you use merchant fulfillment, you do not have this $6.18. But you would do have, everybody who sells on Amazon has a referral fee. Basically, look at it as a commission that Amazon charges in order to sell on a platform. So referral fee are category based and they're a set percentage. So they're usually 10 or 15%. For some low price grocery items, that's 8%. But in this case, I think it's 15%, right? So $3.75. So it's probably 15% or so. So it does depend on a category. So when you combine all of that, it's probably come to, 20, I would say anywhere 20 on the lower end and 40% on the high end of your price. So the percentages and the fees are based, so the referral fee is based percentage of your price. And last, you have inventory storage fees. that is really, it's a variable fee. So referral fee and FBA fees, the first two, I would call them fixed, because you know, unless you change the size of your product, right? A referral fee definitely doesn't change. It's set by Amazon per, you know, if you look at single kind of a SKU P&L breakdown. So inventory storage fee is variable. So when you ship items to FBA, obviously ship enough to last for some time. When that product is stored there, it is charged certain number of cents per cubic foot. It really depends how much you ship. It is not significant enough to deter you from using Amazon fulfillment. If you're thinking, oh my, these fees are adding up. Yes, it's a fee, but if you manage your FBA smartly, it's going to be really nominal considering the benefits of using FBA. So, you know, with our clients, you know, it could be as, you know, it's few dollars a month. Yes, so inventory storage fee, I would say, you know, it's there. And there's also a shipping fee actually, but we'll go through that because it's per shipment. So we'll go through that later in examples. So you will see that, and that is definitely variable fee. All right, let's go to the next one. How does FBA overall work process? So you send your products to Amazon on a truck, right? Then it arrives in warehouses. Customer makes it, so it sits there until customer makes a purchase. Then Amazon picks it off the shelf and sends it to customer. So it's fairly straightforward, right? So if you kind of think Amazon is really kind of a P&L, 3PL in this case, right? Now the shipping process, just a little bit more on that. I'm not going to go through all of that in more detail. I'm not going to go through the labels. I just want to know this is really the purpose, is high level review. So first you determine how you're going to ship Pallet or UPS. I'm going to talk through that, how to make that decision. Then you create a shipment in your Amazon Seller Central portal. Then you print barcode or label, which could be, you know, depending on, you'll be told pretty much in the shipment process whether you need to have Amazon barcode or you can use your product ID, UPC code. Then you complete any prep, you know, do you need to put in polybag, bubble wrap, if it's fragile, you know, you package them, you know, if you stick them in the case and so on. Complete shipment, then you get the carton labels also on the boxes. So there's two labels. There is barcode label that goes on products for some cases, not always, and then carton label is always applied. Then if you do pallet, you also have pallet labels. Then you schedule, then you do a schedule. It looks like a lot, but again, once you do it, hopefully not you directly, but somebody on your team, or if you work with somebody like us, we do this whole process as well for our clients. But this is kind of, I want to make sure that you understand just the high level mechanics behind it. Right, let's go to the next is kind of some questions that you may already have depending on the product or shipping related. So does your product have a manufacturer barcode? If yes, then you possibly will be able to avoid Amazon barcode. It does depend on type of product and a category, is it perishable or not, and so on. So I'm not going to go into more details on that because there's some more nuanced scenarios. But if you, it's better if you have manufacturer barcode. Having said that, it does not, if you don't have UPC code on the product, it does not prevent you from using FBA. That is worth mentioning. Is your product meltable? Then you can use FBA half the year from October 30th in US through April 15th. In the United States and Canada, it's about 15 days on both sides of the window, a little bit longer. Does your product have expiration date? You will need to put that on a product, and you will be asked expiration date in a shipment creation process. Is it heavy? Boxes, if you use UPS or if you use box shipment, not pallet, they can't be more than 50 pounds. And is your product currently packaged loose? That's also something to consider. And is it sold as a set? So I'm going to go through questions around that later. So those are kind of things, make sure you have understanding of that, which you do for your products. The shipment related. If your product required any special preparations, if you already sold, which I suspect you're already selling your products, perhaps already DTC, e-commerce, or even if you're selling to retailers, still, you probably know there's they're just kind of a common sense requirements for ensuring product is delivered as expected. But here there are links, but you can also Google it or search for it in Seller Central portal, or somebody on your team can do that for specific Amazon guidance on those. How many you're sending? There is really no minimum. Sorry, when you start out, there is a maximum sometimes placed on completely brand new, and there is sometimes Fba Inventory Limits. That kind of really came to surface during COVID. There's some, constraints that are macro driven, and but you don't. There isn't really, so it's really fulfillment driven limits, and also then you also have to, fulfillment capacity, Amazon capacity, but also the kind of a business sense, right? Because you obviously manage your inventory and you might have multiple channels. Then also, are you shipping parcel UPS? Parcel, boxes, or pallet? And also you'll need to kind of determine for packs of 2 or 6 and so on. And are you sending same SKU per box or mixed? You can send mixed SKUs in one box. It doesn't have to be all. It just, you will need to kind of list that information during shipment creation process. Okay, next we go to how you're determining. Oh, you say, okay, Irina, great. I want to use Fba, but how do I know whether I should send a parcel or a pallet? I used to send in pallets. Can I just send a pallet? So let's talk through that a bit. So this is just some mechanics of that. Obviously, the more items you want to send, the more it makes sense to send a pallet, unless your items are really small. So the pallets here, just I'm not going to talk through that, but the pallet requirements, you can send up to 5,000 boxes for wholesale. And Amazon does partner with certain carriers. That is the most common on the list, but it's just some examples. And the benefit of that, if you use partners, Amazon partners, the cost is cheaper. So, all right, for UPS, we recommend, just in general, for pallets, not to exceed 50 pounds for pallets. All right, this is some shipping pallet examples. Please show this to your fulfillment team, how to stack them. Not fulfillment expert, but the visuals, I put that here because that just speaks so much better than describing it. And then let's talk through the keep saying UPS. Okay, shipping pallet examples. This is important. These are real life examples that we put. Well, it was 2021. Right now we're our Q2, I think, of 2022 inflationary environment. So, but I think these numbers are still fairly close. So this was a pallet example of a grocery item, number of boxes that went in pallet. Here's pallet weight. Distance, again, Amazon. Oh, no, I haven't talked about it. So distance from fulfillment to the Amazon warehouse, total shipment cost. And this is what I really want you to kind of zoom in for pallets so you can compare cost-wise. So price per unit and price per pound. So this is that cost. When I talked about Amazon fees earlier, this is additional, right? So you kind of, when you do single unit P&L, which I suggest you do, you can consider that for shipments as well, the cost of shipment. So this is liquid item. I will say it went closer and the pallet weight was a little bit less, but you can see this distance here plays a significant role. This is also, it looks like another grocery item. So you can see the shipping cost is fairly reasonable. Okay, let's go to the parcel shipments. Again, boxes not to exceed 50 pounds. There is, this may have changed, but you have to, there was 200 limit per shipment. When you do shipment creation, then you will be told, okay? So this may have changed actually. You just need to provide information on the shipment. Again, I don't want to go through the mechanics of that. Have your fulfillment partner or, you know, somebody like ourselves handle that for you. But again, here on this screen, I want to stress that partnering using Amazon Partner for Carrier, which will be given to you as an option. You don't have to sign up extra or anything of that sort. You most likely will save on shipping cost. All right, this is shipment example by parcels. So as you can see, the shipment weight is still fairly, you know, this is one still fairly high, but you can see that how, remember we had, it was like 30 cents even for the one that went 500 miles, the same distance, right? But we see the cost per unit pretty much tripled when you ship it by UPS, sorry, by parcel. And in this example, the product, the shipment traveled. Oh, we don't have a shipment how long it traveled, but the shipment is a lot smaller. And here we have the price per unit is actually smaller as well. So these are examples of some real life shipments from our practice. Okay. Now let's do some Q&A. This is Q&As that I've gotten real conversations around how FBA shipping process works. So will Amazon provide POs? No. If you're in Seller Central using FBA, you need to do forecasting to avoid being out of stock. If you do it yourself, again, if you're working with agency like ourselves, then we do that for our clients. Here, the key here, avoiding out of stock. That's a slow death on Amazon. That's a death to your Amazon algorithm ranking. We want to avoid that. So you need to consider that. We want to make sure to avoid being out of stock. Can I send a shipment to their fulfillment center that's across the road? No. Amazon has complex distribution network and designates where shipments will go. If you are sending a pallet, it will go to one center because it's a pallet, right? But if you're sending parcel shipments, most likely it'll be split. You know, some units will go to New York, some will go to Michigan, some may go to California. That's how Amazon makes sure they deliver on the 2-day Prime promise. Okay, but can I send to one warehouse instead of multiple? Yes, you can. I think it's called inventory placement service. So you cannot choose which one. It still cannot be across the road unless you get extremely lucky, but you can choose to avoid splitting parcel shipments. You can send it to one. It's an extra fee. I think it's 30 or 40 cents per unit. So again, if you want to do that, add it to your kind of a P&L. I don't know if there is, we haven't really seen huge benefit of doing that. For larger shipments, Amazon does kind of minimize the splitting shipments. So, or where your shipments are large enough where even if you have 2 or 3 shipments, there's still enough kind of a operational value, right? That it justifies that. Or of course, if you have pallets, you can avoid that because you can't split a pallet. So you can look into that, but I don't know if it's really, we haven't really found it to be worth that extra cost. Okay, how returns handled. So customer returns item to FBA, again, that is handled between Amazon and customer. And if it's in sellable condition, you could place back in your FBA inventory. So if it's unopened, unused, right? So, and if it's return damaged, you can have a choice to either have it, it's called unfulfillable inventory. You have a choice to either return it, have it returned to you, or it can be disposed for a fee. Of course, there's per item fee. Of course, perishables, for example, there can't be returned sellable. So there are some things there, of course, kind of caveats based on that. So it's fairly, streamlined process on Amazon side. But that's how it works. Can I stop using FBA anytime? Yes, there is no long-term commitment. It's not quite a marriage, so you can stop anytime. Can I switch to self-fulfillment? Can I do both? This one I'm surprised how actually often brands miss out on FBA because they think they can't do both. You can do both, and you can switch anytime. So you can do also, sometimes we actually, in certain scenarios, we do both. We use FBA and we use merchant fulfilled as a backup, especially in the last, couple years, just been interruption of the supply chains, just some constraints there. We have used both, again, to avoid being out of stock. So you can use FBA and fulfill yourself. Can Amazon package loose items and sell them as a bundle, as a multi-tag? Hey, can I ship here? I'm using a case of 30 units and then but we sell them as 6-pack, and can Amazon pick out and send 6 units as a 6-pack? The answer is no. Items do need to ship to FBA as a sellable unit. In other words, they need to be packaged exactly how a customer will receive them. So if you are selling, so on the product page, it's a 6-pack of, I don't know, bars or I don't know, of pants, then you need to send them as a 6-pack, okay? Can I use FBA for my website as a fulfillment? Yes. You can either do redirect to Amazon website, so you have your developer can put that right in kind of with a click and then directs them to Amazon. So obviously you need to be selling your product on Amazon for that in both scenarios, right? So, and then they just go through standard Amazon process checkout. Or, you can also use multi-channel fulfillment process. It is a fee for that. So you ship everything for all the units to Amazon, and they do fulfillment kind of on the back end. So it's still customer buys on your website, but then information goes to, or you need to send up via API to Amazon, and Amazon ships from FBA the items that were purchased by customers for your website. Now, the big there's a trade-off here. You can redirect to Amazon. It's easy. Amazon, everybody knows how to use Amazon, so that's kind of a pretty smooth process. But then Amazon will own the customer data. So if they buy on your website, obviously you own the information, you have their email and so on. But as a trade-off here is you have this extra fee, right? So, but that's the answer to that. So that is it for the high-level overview. So just I didn't speak about who we are in the beginning, but we are Amazon specialized agency. We're Amazon verified advertising partner. So we help brands go from 0 to their first million and beyond on Amazon Marketplace. You can find us at this website, and I did put my personal, my name is Irina Balurko. I'm a partner at Redex e-commerce, and this is my actual email address. You can send me questions if you have not only FBA, but any problems or you need help on Amazon, then you can find us here and my website. So I am going to stop recording right now. Hopefully that was helpful, and we'll talk soon.